University Unitarian Church in Seattle, Washington. It's Sunday, December the 6th, 2020, the second Sunday in Advent, and we are delighted to welcome you to this hour of worship. My name is Jon Luopa. I'm one of the ministers here. I'm here with my good colleague Beth Chronister, our musicians, special musician this morning, Eileen Swanson, and our tech crew. It's good to be together. The other day, a friend shared a cartoon with me, I think from the New Yorker, one of the favorite sources of cartoons, of course. And it showed a bookstore and the owner greeting someone coming into the bookstore. And she said to him, "We've just rearranged things a little bit here in the store, so depending on what you're looking for, it may not be in the usual place. For example, the travel section is now in the fantasy section. Politics is now in the science fiction center, and epidemiology is now in the self-help department." Everything's all mixed up. We're trying to find our place, and hopefully that gave you at least a grin this morning. We're trying to do our best here in the virtual reality after 10 months to provide you the ministry and services that you've become accustomed to and that help to keep us steady in these difficult times. So I remind you again that this coming Wednesday evening, our service of solace will take place, as we have done for many years, and we encourage you to come and to bring a friend with you if you can, even virtually. This is a special service for those who are finding the holiday season uniquely and particularly difficult. It's a meditative, quiet, reflective service of music and candlelighting and sharing, and has become one of the favorite offerings here in the holiday season. I'm also delighted to announce this morning that Justin Almeida, many of you have known Justin when he was on staff here or working with the Coming of Age, and who's preached here many times, sat before the Ministerial Fellowship Committee yesterday morning, virtually, of course. They were in Boston, and he received a resounding affirmation of 1, which means go ahead, be ordained, no conditions except for joy and jubilation, which we will share with him at that time when we can ordain him to our Unitarian Universalist ministry. We've been very lucky to have Justin and Heather and Toby with us these many years, and look forward to a long association. One last announcement: our racial justice teams and immigrant justice teams have put together a series of conversations that will actually begin this evening on reimagining public safety. Very important concern. They're limiting each of the sessions to 16 persons so that there can be maximum participation in them. The session set for tonight is full. There's another one scheduled for next Saturday. But if you're interested, I encourage you to go to the website and sign up for the one next Saturday and for those that will follow these initial offerings. Thank you. Let us begin our service this morning.
On the second week of Advent, we turn our attention to the daily practice and the power of hope. I call us to worship with these words from the Reverend Teresa Soto. In this community, we hold hope close. We don't always know what comes next, but that cannot dissuade us. We don't always know just what to do, but that will not mean that we are lost in the wilderness. We rely on the certainty beneath, the foundation of our values and ethics. We are the people who return to love like a north star, and to the truth that we are greater together than we are alone. Our hope does not live in some glimmer of an indistinct future. Rather, we know the way to the world of which we dream, and by covenant, in the movement forward of one right action in the next, we know that one day we will arrive at home. Welcome to worship this morning. Welcome to University Unitarian Church. From wherever you are, it is a joy to be together on this day. Would you please join me now in singing the words to our doxology? The words will be on the screen, followed by hymn number 10, Immortal Love.
Greetings. It's good to be with you. I am Don Morgan, and I have been the member of University Unitarian Church since 1970. The church and its members have been a profound part of my life. I met my wife here, and our sons grew up in the church participating in religious education. That included Al and coming of age. I continue to be involved in RE. The church continues to invest in young people, just as they did with my children. I'm so grateful to be part of an organization that values people of all ages on their spiritual journey. I continue to pledge my time and resources so that I will feel part of a community that does so much more than I could do on my own. UUC continues to provide me with inspiration through services, music, and outreach. I am particularly excited by the anti-racism initiatives that are part of our social justice program. These are difficult times for our world. We need UUC. Please join me now in saying our offertory words. This church is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. When we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it.
Schließ alles so
Music is such a blessing in this time. Thank you. Would you please join me in the spirit of prayer and of meditation, settling into your breath and your body, and with whatever is here right now. When life becomes upended and the world loses its familiarity, when we've lived in chaos and grief for so long that the surreal is just day to day, this blessing waits to receive you as you are. This blessing will hold your hand, sit by your side when the storms of uncertainty and the clouds of dread shake at your very foundations, and you can no longer escape all that you do not control. This blessing will never forsake you, even when you feel most alone. Small against the vastness of it all, this blessing is here to remind you that your life matters. And it will not always be this way. This blessing comes as friendship's smile, as kind words and compassionate ear, as glimpses of beauty within brokenness, and as blessed rest. Sometimes this blessing comes as food delivered to your door, or as sunlight beams, or as laughter which becomes survival. This blessing is with you and within you, as hope renewed, as love's forgiving embrace, and faith hard won. Rest in this blessing, dear ones. It is here for you. To these words, I invite you to add the silent intentions and prayers of your own hearts. Blessed be, and amen.
Friends, if you're wondering about that hymn and whether or not it sounded like the first hymn, you're paying attention, because it is the same tune with a little different meter. The person who preaches the sermon each week gets to pick the hymns, and I picked those hymns for the words, and only this morning recognized that the tune is nearly identical. It's a great Irish tune, St. Columba, and I know you enjoyed it. Everybody, every person, every child needs some kind of assurance or reassurance. Am I doing the right thing? Am I living my life the way I should? We need these things repeatedly through our lives, and it has been one of the roles of religion really throughout human history to provide assurance to its members, to its followers and participants. Of course, the different religions provide different kinds of assurance, but that's part of what religion is all about. And with a community like our own, where there is a great deal of diversity, not only of need and belief, how is it possible for us then to meet that basic, urgent human need for assurance? It's a tough one for us because we don't, I think, really have enough common agreement on the traditional sources of assurance so as to easily compare ourselves to other religious groups. It's hard to do that, and I'm sure when people have asked you, well, what does it mean to be a Unitarian Universalist? It's not an easy question to answer. So in comparison to many other religious traditions, I would say that we do not offer unanimity in some of the traditional assurances. For example, like faith in God. We have no unanimity around any symbol that assures us that everything is well with the world, everything is in its place as it should be, and that no matter what happens to you or to us, we can rest in the assurance that it was planned and not random. I think we also have no unanimity around the sources of revelation or of truth or direction. We look to many different places. We call ourselves a group that has a living tradition, and we look to a variety of religious and outside of religious sources to give us meaning and direction. Not only the traditions from which we have come, but many that we have adopted in some ways, but also the findings of science, hard sciences, soft sciences, are as informative for each of us as are those religious traditions. So there's no unanimity there either. Thirdly, I think we have no unanimity around what will save us or who will save us. Is it God or Jesus or the Buddha or the earth, the government? Will science save us? Will human intelligence save us? What about our own particular political orientation or philosophy? Is that going to save us? I don't think we would find common agreement there. I also don't think that we have any unanimity around what will protect us or keep us safe. What can protect you? What can protect me? My yoga practice? Medical insurance? Organic foods? The cocktail hour? A safer automobile? A very large retirement account? A good friend? I'm not sure. And no matter what happens, we will be protected from disaster by any of these things? Not sure. And lastly, I don't think that we have any unanimity about what happens to us after we die. Do we go to heaven? Do we possess a spirit or a soul quality that continues after the physical body departs? Are we part of a large universal consciousness or mind with a capital M, as Ralph Waldo Emerson contended? Or do we look at it as a purely naturalistic thing? When we die, we return our body elements to the earth, to nature. We fall apart just as we came together from all of those elements in some known and unknown ways. That's what happens after death. I have known Unitarian Universalists who have believed all of those things and many other things as well in terms of what happens to us after we die. Some who've believed that they will be reunited with relatives who have died before them, that they are going to meet their husband again in some kind of an afterlife. Or perhaps even that there's a very great and a vast silence to which we return. These things. All religions promise assurance in all of these areas. Some variations, that a God will take care of you, that everything is part of a bigger plan beyond your knowing and understanding, that you will be saved, there is a way to be saved, that you will be protected, and that you may not ever really have to die. And these assurances hold for many hundreds of millions of people all over the world. But I think that they are in some ways becoming less persuasive. We may want to hold on to some of these things, but I know for me it's enormously compromising and difficult. And to renounce these assurances certainly brings trauma and betrayal and emptiness and great confusion. I know when I became a Unitarian Universalist as a freshman in college, I had to let go of many of the teachings of my childish religion. And for many years I felt a sense of betrayal, that I had betrayed those sources of wisdom and reassurance. And even now, all these many years later, that feeling sometimes returns. So if we need assurance, where do we find it? As a teenager in high school, I became convinced that there were no final answers and no final truths. And this awareness was as horrifying in its insecurity as it was liberating in my adolescent development. When I became an adult, I added to this conviction by realizing that the future of the human race was not guaranteed. This was the time of the scare of nuclear winter and complete nuclear destruction. Dr. Helen Caldicott came to our college campus and really terrified everyone by grasping the very real possibility that we had the capacity to completely destroy life on the planet. Horrifying things, no guarantee, and we are born without a single guarantee for our health and our life, or whether we become sick, remain healthy, whether tragedy visits, and so on. And so I find myself then, at those early ages, to believe that there were no final answers and no final truths, and that human destiny was not assured, and that every person had no guarantee. And I think those things will stand up against any kind of assault of questioning. Every religion, every civilization that has claimed to make a definitive statement about any of those things has been or will be surpassed. So where do we find assurance then? Is there a common ground that all of us can stand on despite our many differences? I'm going to offer you this morning just a couple of things that I have come to appreciate about our particular way in the world, our religious orientation. I'm only going to give you as much as maybe 6. I think there are actually many more of them. You may find them, but this is the ground I declare as where we can give assurance to you, to us, to me. The first is, you may rest in the assurance of the wonder and the awe of being alive. If you are alive and have reached a stage of knowing, you may have the assurance of looking at yourself as a creation and standing in total, perpetual awe that such a thing as yourself could happen. Nothing to you more mysterious has ever been seen or written about or promised than the wonder of being a human being. And the more we age and the more we know and the more we probe, the more the mystery and the wonder and the awe. I can remember at certain times in my own development that I became fascinated with my senses. How is it possible for me to see the world in its resplendent color and glory? How is that possible? Science can explain the composition of the eye and the instrument of sight. But what an amazing and a marvelous gift this is, you see. I like to share with you a poem that I've had for many years that speaks to this. It goes in this way: here in my curving hands I cup this quiet dust. I lift it up. Here is the mother of all thought. Of this the shining heavens are wrought, the laughing lips, the feet that rove, the face, the body that you love, mere dust, no more, yet nothing less. And this has suffered consciousness. Passion and terror, this again, shall suffer passion, death, and pain. It's quite amazing to think that we are really nothing more than dust, stardust, earth dust, with consciousness, awareness, intelligence, appreciation. So this is the first assurance I think I would give to you of the wonder and the awe of being alive now. Secondly, you may have the assurance of an awareness of your unique identity. This is very important to us in our religious community and in our tradition. The more that you examine this unsure, fragile, delicate passing of dust, the more you will become aware of your own unique identity. And the fact that you are just here in passing should make the miracle of your identity all the more important to you. The very limitation of it enhances its glory because you are uniquely yourself. I cannot think of a religious community outside of our own where a young person is given permission and support and celebration to find out who he, she, they are in their own development. There isn't a single scientist that could not testify to that fact, or a single loving observer. Nothing like you has ever been, or probably ever will be again. I remember years ago now when my older daughter was taking a sociology class in high school, they were studying the institution of marriage. And the teacher asked our daughter, saying, I know your dad is a minister. Do you think he would be willing to come in and talk to us about his experience counseling people who are thinking about and eventually get married, and what are some of the things we ought to think about? And so I did go to the class that day and talked about it. And during the course of my presentation, I said, and I'm lucky enough to belong to a religious community where we hold that a man and a woman, or two men or two women, can marry, can have children, can start a family, and that all of this is really wonderful, amazing, freeing. We promote this. We support this. We accept this. And at the end of the class, there was a young woman who was standing in the back of the classroom near the door against the wall. And as the students left, as the bell rang, she came forward to talk to me. I had been watching her during this whole class, and I could see that there were tears coming down her cheeks. And I imagined to myself what was going on in her mind and in her heart. And when she got next to me, she said, I want to thank you. I have never heard things like this from any minister I've ever known, because you see me. And you maybe even love me. Your uniqueness, its beauty, its power, its pain, its passion, its terror. There needs to be a place in the world where we love each other and support each other for the special beings that each of us is, so we can rest in the assurance of this, my friends, in this house. Third, you can have the assurance of the zest of discovery for the world and for the organic processes in it are unlimited. Unlimited in your day for as long as you live. Unlimited for the species as long as the species persists. Every day we may learn something new, unprecedented. The revelation has not been finally given. It's still there for you to see and to find yourself, and it was not given to others. It may be given to you each day. It's your discovery, your opportunity, and you can have the assurance of that, you see, if you want it and you choose it. So third, we do promote the assurance of the zest of exploration and discovery. Fourth, you can have the assurance of delight in the wonder and beauty of the world and of life itself. And when you understand and appreciate the miracle of what you are, a cup of dust lifted up, and then you open your eyes and look around the world, I could give you poetry every day, beautiful statements of the miracle of the world around us. I've said this poem many times on Easter Sunday. E. Cummings, you know it. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping, greening spirits of trees and the true blue sky, and for everything which is natural and which is infinite and which is yes. Delight in the wonder and the miracle of the world and of what dust can be, more than just you and me. Fifth, you can find assurance in being hopeful for the future. Hope, as I have said many times, has several forms. You can hope for a particular thing, and you can also just be a hopeful person for nothing in particular, but open to the goodness that may come and the opportunity that you have to make it so. It is really an achievement to be a hopeful person in that way, especially now. And it is a defeat to be hopeless. If you are hopeful, You have the knowledge of the fact that you have to work to be hopeful. It requires persistence and creativity and a kind of trust that not many are able to sustain. We are more aware of our own inattentiveness, carelessness, lack of perspective and vision, our limited understanding, our small concern for ourselves and for others. But every one of those excuses is nothing more than an excuse, and it can be surpassed. We have inherited a wonderful legacy of hopefulness from so many who have gone before, whose life experience has been far more traumatic and tragic than our own, who yet remained hopeful despite it all. We would be unfaithful if we did not remember that legacy and contribute to it ourselves. And I'm winding down, friends, so take some assurance out of that. Lastly, we do offer the assurance of companionship along the way. You are not alone. You are not an isolated being. Do you remember when we used to open our services by saying, we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to one another and to the earth. We offer a community of persons who care and who are genuinely interested in each other. That is what a church should be, regardless of its doctrine, so that in your pain and in your suffering and in your sorrow and in coming to grips with the necessity of your limitations or in whatever agony there may be in passing, from the dust that knows to the dust that does not know, but shall know again, you can hear a voice and feel a hand of someone who chooses to walk with you on the way, of those who love you and care for you. In the moments of victory and the occasions of celebration of the tender, loving, fragile, beautiful things of the earth, you can hear the singing voices and feel the loving touch of your companions on the way, of those who share the quest and the journey of life with you. So what I would offer to you in summary is that where we would give assurance is that we share the miracle of being alive in this moment. We are invited to cherish the unique identity each of us claims. We can enjoy the zest for discovery and proclaim delight in the world. Let us remain hopeful for the future and be reassured that we are companioned. These assurances may not be enough for you. Well, more's the pity, because I think they're all we have. And I think as well that they are all we need to build a beloved community of memory and hope in the lucky days we have to be here and to be with each other. So may it be. Amen. Our closing hymn this morning is hymn number 284, a different hymn tune this time. Praise, O my heart, to you. What lovely lines from the poet Ridgely Torrance in that hymn. All these great and loving things, as it says in the last verse, they go again to be the dust they tread, and you breathe upon the dust, they rise and are. I will sing praises to you while life fills my flesh with breath. As long as life shall stream from you within me, I will sing your light. You are a beloved and precious people. Much is expected of us. The world needs much. Be strong, be of good courage, and take heart, for the best is yet to be. Amen.
Steve